England, World Cup semi-finalists as recently as 2018 and qualified for Euro 2021 in some style, finishing top of their group by 6 points and winning 7 out of 8 games, losing just once away to the Czech Republic. In the Nations League, however, results have been indifferent. There was, of course, the 2-1 win at home to Belgium. However, England failed to beat Denmark over 2 games, drawing one and losing another. And of course, last week they fell to a 2-0 defeat in Leuven to Belgium, which ended their hopes of progressing from the group stages of the Nations League. And it has to be said, a third place finish in that group, finishing behind Denmark, is extremely poor. Denmark are a very well organised, very well drilled side with a few good players. However, head to head, player to player, if England are playing in an expansive way, playing good attacking football, I think that they rip them to shreds. And this is an issue that Gareth Southgate faces, and it's one that I will explore in this video. Now, there has been some talk for Gareth Southgate to go, but this won't happen. He has credit in the bank from that semi-final finish in 2018. Now, Gareth Southgate talks a good game. He really does. He comes across extremely well in the press, and everyone was getting behind him in 2018. However, fast forward to 2020, results are a little indifferent, as I mentioned before, and England's pool of attacking talent can be said to be being wasted. Southgate says that he never has favourites. He doesn't pick favourites. He just selects his squads and his teams on form. However, this is just not true. You have the likes of Jordan Pickford struggling terribly at Everton, even not playing that well for England as well. I know Dean Henderson hasn't been playing games in the league for Manchester United, but Nick Pope is playing week in, week out for Burnley, and despite their poor form, he's performing well. He always has done. He's an established Premier League goalkeeper at this stage, and I really think that Southgate should be making some changes in. He's also recalled the likes of Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker, two right backs who have been displaced by Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he's not even playing them as right backs. He's playing Trippier as a left wing back, and he's playing Kyle Walker as a right-sided centre back in a 3. He also continues to pick Eric Dyer as a centre back. Controversial selection. I'd say he's a defensive midfielder, although he has been moved to centre-back by Jose Mourinho at Spurs, but he hasn't excelled there for club or country. And then, of course, Harry Maguire, perhaps the most notable pick, whose form for Manchester United this season has been absolutely shocking. I think every Manchester United fan would say that as well. However, it is not just the picking his favourites time and time again that will be his undoing. It's his failure to get the most out of England's pool of attacking talent. This is the best pool of attacking talent that England have had since the 1990s, where they seem to have a conveyor belt of quality strikers. You have Harry Kane, Danny Ings, Tammy Abraham, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, Jamie Vardy, in my opinion, is up there with Kane, but he's obviously retired. Those are 4 quality strikers who are doing it in the Premier League on a regular basis. Maybe in Tammy Abraham's case, not quite such a regular basis, but he's still a very promising young striker, and he had a very good season last season. Add to that in wide areas, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford and Raheem Sterling, and this is a serious set of attacking talent. You obviously have the likes of Jack Grealish and Phil Foden playing from midfield as well. And Gareth Southgate persists with a 5 at the back formation. And not only that, he almost always plays 2 defensive midfielders ahead of that, meaning that it's just 3 forward-thinking players at the top. It's quite similar to Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, and you have a situation where quality forwards are being isolated, and he's not picking the right players in midfield to get the best out of them. In fact, in the last game, he didn't even pick pace up front. He played Harry Kane as a centre forward, as he always does, and as he should. Kane is England's best striker. But he played Jack Grealish and Mason Mount either side of them. I'm a massive fan of Jack Grealish, but I think that with England, it's almost a waste to play him left wing because England have such good pacey wingers. Grealish would be better suited either playing in the 10 or playing as a left or right-sided central midfielder in a 3, similarly to how Manchester City set up with David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne in recent seasons. And we're going to go through my the squad that I would pick and the starting 11 that I would pick now. To start with, let's have a look at the squad goalkeepers. I already mentioned Pickford is in poor form. I would still take him to Euro 2021, but I would have him as third choice keeper behind Dean Henderson and Nick Pope. Nick Pope will be well, I'll show you my starting 11 in a minute, but yeah, behind Henderson and Nick Pope. Defence, the two right backs I would pick are Trent Alexander-Arnold and Reece James, as you can see from the image. The left backs I would pick are Ben Chilwell and Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I know that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not a natural left back. However, England don't have a great depth of natural left backs, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles can play in a variety of positions as well. He can play right back, left back, and central midfield. So having a utility player like that in your squad can be very, very important. And the four centre backs I've chosen because we're going to play 4-3-3, because that is the formation. That is the, when I say the formation, that is the formation. That's what good teams play. Is Connor Cody, Tyrone Mings, Eric Dyer, and Harry Maguire. I'm not a big fan of Michael Keane, and I'd leave him at home. In midfield, I've put down Jordan Henderson, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, Declan Rice, Mason Mount, and James Ward-Prowse. I just don't think that Harry Winks does enough to warrant a place in the squad. Mourinho has also dropped him from the starting 11 for Spurs. I don't think he's going to be playing enough top level football over the course of the season to merit a place in the squad, and even if he was, I don't think that he's good enough to merit a place in the squad. And then Calvin Phillips is the other midfielder who's been playing for England semi-regularly recently, and I wouldn't include him in the squad unless he has a fantastic season with Leeds. I just think that the midfielders you have there, I'll show you my starting 11 in a minute, but I mean, one who wouldn't be starting for me but I definitely have in the squad is James Ward-Prowse. He's I think Southampton's captain or vice captain, plays week in, week out, high energy, good on the ball, great technique. He's a leader as well. He'd be a good squad player to have around. And then the forwards, Harry Kane, captain, that's simple. Danny Ings for me has to travel if he's fit. He is a quality striker, and I think you might see him being picked up by a team of a higher stature than Southampton come the end of the season. He scores goals. That's just what he does. Then Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the third striker, and in wide areas, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, and Jadon Sancho. So let's have a look at my starting 11. So Nick Pope in goals, Alexander-Arnold right back. I think that he picks himself. Perhaps where I might get some criticism and the most controversy, but I really don't care, is at centre back. I've gone for Connor Cody of Wolves and Tyrone Mings of Aston Villa. I would love, if you disagree with me here, just please explain why you think the likes of Eric Dyer or Harry Maguire should be in the team ahead of these two. Mings is matured so well. He's great on the ball. I'd say he's England's best ball-playing centre-back. He's quick, he's strong, and he reads the game well. I just think that he's maturing into a really top centre-back, and to be leaving him out would be very foolish. He's also left-footed, which means that his passing channels on that left-hand side are much more natural and much better than the likes of Maguire, who's usually England's left-sided centre-back. Connor Cody lacks pace, but he's a great defender, and his passing is underrated as well. And he marshals that really tough Wolves defence superbly. And he's a leader as well. And I think that England could do much worse than to pick these two together at centre-back. I also think that they complement each other very well too. Then Chilwell, he picks himself when he's fit. I'm not the biggest fan, but England don't have a great selection of left-backs. And to be fair to him, he started life at Chelsea pretty well. Henderson, another automatic pick at the base of midfield. I'd play him in a pivot position, a sole pivot. And then ahead of him, Jack Grealish and Phil Foden. For me, Jack Grealish is England's best player. He is unbelievably good. I'm so happy with how he's progressed this season. He showed so much promise for Villa last season and definitely kept them up. But this season, he's taken his game to a new level. And what he brings to England is something that no other midfielder can bring, and I want to see him, them building the side around him. I've put him in to play as an 8-10 position, similar to how Kevin De Bruyne plays for Manchester City, and the same with Phil Foden on the other side. That's where he's been playing a little bit further forward as well, but certainly for City, he often plays in that position that David Silva played in for them for so many years. And another quality player, another one for the future, and one, you need to be giving young players the the minutes, and he's getting minutes for City, and he's producing. And I want to see Gareth Southgate put him in from the start more often as well. And then up front, Harry Kane. You can't, as well as Danny Ings is playing, you can't really leave out Harry Kane. He just has so much about his game. He's not just a striker. His passing has come on so much this year. His form for Spurs is outstanding. It's probably the best football that I've ever seen him play, and he's a genuine world-class striker, and he starts and captains the team. And then in wide areas, Sterling and Rashford. Sancho is unlucky to miss out. You can play, you can interchange these players a little bit as well, depending on their form and depending on the opposition. I just think that Sterling and Rashford, they're a little bit more mature, and they have more experience, and I think that they're both quality wingers, and they're goal scoring wingers as well, and they create chances. For me, that's a very dangerous team. How I'd like to see that team set up is to play progressive football, to be, these are all players who have high energy, pressing from the front, playing good progressive football on the ball, keeping the ball, dominating teams, breaking them down, being good on the counter attack as well. I really think that this starting 11 could do some damage in Euro 2021. England have been drawn in a group with Scotland, Czech Republic and Croatia. That's by no means easy. And I think that if England sit off these teams, don't try to dominate them, play five at the back and don't take control of games, that they could find it very, very difficult to qualify. I could easily see England drawing all three games if they continue to play how Gareth Southgate has set them up. I hope I'm wrong, but recent games haven't given me much promise, although the Ireland game was pretty good, but Ireland are fairly weak. I'd actually expect Scotland to be very tough to beat. Obviously there's a massive rivalry there, and I think that Scotland will be very, very tough to beat. Obviously England lost to Croatia in the 2018 World Cup semi-final. They'll want to get one over them this time, and Czech Republic, England beat and lost to in the qualifying stages for the tournament. So it's by no means a walk in the park, but if England play a 4-3-3, if they pick quality attacking players, if Southgate has the balls to drop players, big players who are out of form, and play players who are in form, I think that England have a good chance of doing very, very well in this tournament. Thanks very much for watching today, guys. Don't forget, as always, to smash a like on the video, to share the content around, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And please let me know your thoughts on my squad and my team selection. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and see you next time.